All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WNR Body Transformation Podcast, coming to you with your weekly / bi-weekly podcast or video, whatever the fuck it is. I don't care. I'm just doing it by the way I feel, right? Because YouTube is more of like a hobby. Most of my work actually is on Instagram. So yeah, but before we just get started, I just want to mention the fact that whatever is mentioned in this podcast / video is solely for educational and entertainment purposes only. So please don't do dumb shit. Whatever you want to do, please do it at the risk of your at your own risk. And if you want to ever try out anything, don't listen to a random bro on YouTube like me. But get your physician / doctor's advice before you do anything. That's all I'm trying to say. And before we just get started, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and just do the needful, right? And once again, I'm having my coffee. Good coffee. Fucking good coffee. Today I'm not having the Filipino coffee. That's too strong, but it's more of like Arabica, which is like far more smoother. But yeah, it's a Sunday where I had a personal training session. It got cancelled. So like, fuck it. Instead of bi-weekly podcast / video, let me just make it like a weekly one. So yeah, what is the topic of this podcast / video, right? Now, for those people who are listening to this or watching this, you don't need to watch it on YouTube unless and until you got a fetish for my beautiful face. And I don't know if some girls actually have a fetish for my beautiful face. It's been a while since I put myself out there in the dating industry, like in the dating world, right? But I sincerely don't give a fuck anymore, right, about girls. Not because I'm gay, I still do love women, just to clarify that. But yeah, like lately I've had like a bit of a realization, like in business and bodybuilding, I'm blessed to do this because yeah, I genuinely enjoy the journey. So I'm going to be talking about supplements for general health, specifically for fat loss and specifically for muscle building, right? For all you people who like to not do the basics, right? And want to just take supplements, y'all are going to enjoy this because there are many idiots out there. I used to be one of them. You know, on Instagram, I keep on receiving this message from this guy, right, who does all the biohacking shit, but doesn't track his calories, macros, and does all that zone 2 cardio, strength training, muscle building training, all that fucking rubbish. But where's a Whoop as well, right? People like those men are known as men who analyze and paralyze themselves and never make progress. But let's get cracking. So I'm just gonna have like a nice little sip because then I need some energy before. I already am pretty energetic while I talk, but yeah, fuck it, coffee is good. Good shit. Very good. Excuse me. Ouch, that coffee got stuck. So let me just talk about supplements for health, right? Now, whether you're in a muscle building phase or whether you are in a fat loss phase, supplements are meant to supplement your diet. Yes, I know you were not expecting me to preach, but I'm still going to preach because I want to keep my ethics in check. But I'm going to post a screenshot or whatever. If you want to lose body fat, you want to be in a caloric deficit because that's going to help you lose weight. Now, I know you're going to tell me, I don't want to lose weight. I want to lose weight from fat. So you want your protein intake to be high because protein helps you retain muscle. And you want to be eating mainly whole foods because whole foods keep you fuller and the nutrient profile is going to be better. So use a food tracking app like Chronometer. It's absolutely for free. That's something that I've been using. No, I'm not sponsored by them. I wish. And that's like eating mostly whole foods within your fat loss phase is going to cover your baseline nutrients. You don't really need like curcumin or shit like that, basically. But over there in a muscle building phase, right? Same principles apply. The only thing is you're going to be eating more of those same foods. And it's as simple as that. Just going to be slightly eating more calories. Yeah, because the way your body responds to shit foods is very different than the way your body responds to crappy foods. Cool, now we got that clarified out of the way. let's fucking get started. What are the supplements needed for generic health, right? Now, no matter how optimal your diet is, in today's generation, basically, like, the foods are so processed, even whole foods, right, which you get from the supermarket, which are quote-unquote healthy, bro foods, or whatever you want to call them, right? They're processed, the nutrients might be removed, so supplements are just meant to fill in those missing gaps that you don't really get from your diet. So, wait, I'll just have like another sip. So these are my top supplements for generic health, regardless of whichever phase you are in, for health. Just a cheap multivitamin. You don't want to get like an expensive multivitamin. If it's a cheap one, just simply double the dose, right? Yeah, you don't want to get like an expensive multivitamin. Sometimes I even skip it. Like, I don't even need it. Zinc, you pretty much get this from your diet. 20 to 30 milligrams of it. Zinc picolinate. That's pretty good. Zinc helps in the contractions. Zinc helps in contractions of your veins, blood vessels, etc. And it's just involved in slightly increasing up your metabolism by something like, I don't know, 30 calories, basically bringing it back to baseline. It's involved in slightly increasing your testosterone levels if you have shit habits, basically, and your testosterone levels are chronically suppressed, right? But simply dropping body fat is going to do that. So yeah, that's something that you want to keep in mind. It's involved in several other processes, but it's something that I just put in my client's diet. Do I have it? Like, I have something like 10 to 15 milligrams on alternative days. Sometimes I even forget about it because I eat a lot of beef liver, right? I eat a lot of organ meats. If you have like a whole food diet with high in animal protein, etc., you are going to get your zinc. Don't worry about that. The magnesium, this is something that you need to be supplementing with. A good quality magnesium. Don't get magnesium oxide because that's a laxative. You're just going to flush that shit out. Magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium bisglycinate, magnesium threonate, right? Rotate between your magnesium sources anywhere between something like 300 to 700 milligrams per day is amazing. Magnesium is involved in so many processes inside the body. It helps with good sleep. It helps with relaxing the vessels. It's a vasodilator. It helps you reduce your stress. It's good for your brain. I mean, magnesium is amazing. So add that in, regardless of whichever phase you are in. A good quality omega-3 supplement, anywhere between 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 per day. Quality one. Carlson is pretty good in the form of syrup. In the form of syrups, make sure that the omega-3 doesn't come in a transparent packaging. It's got like some sort of container which is shaded, which protects it from sunlight, because moment sunlight passes through the fish oil, it gets oxidized. Store the fish oil inside the fridge. I prefer syrup over tablets. Because most of the tablets don't really have a high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids inside them. We need something like 2,000 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams per day, right? Or get in fatty fish within your diet, which most of the people are not like a huge fan of. So Carlson is pretty good. Store it inside the fridge, or get the tablets which have a high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids inside them. Turn it back, look at it, and that basically is it, right? This needs to be there regardless of whichever phase you are in. Omega-3 is amazing. It's good for brain health. It's good for skin health, hair health, cholesterol, blood pressure. What else? Libido, hormonal production. I mean, it's amazing. And for the vegans out there, well, fuck them, right? But anyways, you need to understand how... Wait, I'll just have like another sip, because I need some energy before I talk about vegans. Right, they're a fucking nightmare. But yeah, algae oil. You need to understand like how omega-3 is actually produced. So the fish eats the algae. Algae is the omega-3 part, and the fish's food is algae, and that's how we get its omega-3. That's basically in a nutshell. So for some of my vegan clients, I add in algae oil instead of omega-3 because they tend to make a fucking fuss. Oh, I can't eat omega-3 basically. So I'm like, all right, let's probably add in some algae oil. It's the same shit, right? You don't need omega-6s because your body already has enough omega-6 stores stored in the form of fat, at least for like a year. And if your diet is good and healthy fats like egg yolks, avocados, nuts, seeds, I mean, you're gonna get like enough omega-6s, so that's not really a problem. Creatine, anywhere between 5 to 10 grams per day, besides muscle building purposes and fat loss, is also really good for brain health, sleep, reducing depression. I mean, creatine is one of the most studied supplements with evidence out there. These are the only few supplements that I probably suggest someone take it. Now, supplements, there are several other supplements that I use, but those are only relevant to a particular situation. For example, if someone has got like kidney health issues, right, use an acetylcysteine or glutathione. If someone's got like a bit of a cold, right, well, let's probably push your vitamin C intake up to something like 10 grams, right? Or let's probably push your glutathione injectable form up to something like 1800 milligrams in one shot, basically. But this is like the baseline supplements that I tell everyone for all my clients. Even for myself, although I get like a lot of free supplements from the pharmacy sometimes. So yeah, fuck it, I might as well take it. Like right now I'm taking green tea extract. So that's also pretty good for brain health, a little bit of fat loss, right? But none of this shit's gonna work if you don't do the work. If you want to drop body fat, you want to be in a caloric deficit, I can't stop fucking preaching. So I'm gonna keep on hammering that. You need to be training and you need to be eating healthy. So yeah, now that I get that out of the way, oh, beautiful. That's like another sip. Done, right? Let's talk about supplements specifically for fat loss, because a lot of people think that these supplements that I mentioned previously for generic health will help them drop body fat. Yes, slightly, because their health is slightly optimized and a healthy person is not really a fat person. But let's talk about like performance-based supplements specifically designed for fat loss. The first one being is, I'm going to talk about supplements. I'm not going to talk about performance enhancing drugs, basically, right? Although I can talk about that on endlessly. Yohimbine HCl, right? Now, what this does is it's taken from the bark of a tree, researched, heavily studied. It acts by blocking the alpha-2 adrenergic receptors, which alpha-2 adrenergic receptors basically they inhibit the release of epinephrine and norepinephrine. You don't want to be concerned with those. Well, fuck it, I might as well explain it to you, right? Epinephrine is adrenaline, norepinephrine is noradrenaline, basically. Right? When you secrete these hormones, your body goes in a fuck it, I want to fight state, or I want to run away state, basically, right? And your heart rate increases. Just imagine, like, if a lion is chasing, your heart rate's going to increase. You're like going to get like, you're gonna be zoned out, like, right? Your heart rate increases. When your heart rate increases, your body is going to search for instant energy in that particular moment. So some of the energy stores would be in the form of carbohydrates stored within your muscle cells. Some of the energy stores would be in the form of fat stored within your belly or your thighs or your hips or whatever, right? Heart rate increases, right? And blood pressure increases. And if you stack that up with like daily fasted cardio or doing your steps or training inside the gym, you might see some marginal 1 or 2% fat loss benefits, provided that you're doing your steps, provided that you're on a caloric deficit, provided that you are doing the boring basics when it comes to dropping body fat. So when I would use this is, I'd use this at the back end of a diet when we have exhausted all possible methods and you want that like 4 to 5% increase extra when you exhausted like every ounce of daily fasted cardio, when you exhausted the amount of calories that you can possibly reduce, when you exhausted the amount of training that you do, all right, cool, let's probably add in a supplement. So in the last 4 to 5 weeks, basically. But just be careful with regards to this, because a lot of people tend to have like adverse reactions to this, right? But a good starting dose would be anywhere between like 2 to 2.5 milligrams per day, right? If it's working, don't fucking increase it, right? Don't increase it. Ride that for as long as possible, and then make like another 2 milligram dose increment. Do this something like once every 2 weeks, or once every 3 weeks, or once every week. Basically, it really depends from person to person, and yeah, that basically is it, right? The other one is caffeine. Now, caffeine is amazing. Caffeine is fucking amazing. There are so many forms of caffeine: black coffee, green tea, pre-workout drinks, caffeine pills, and yeah, I mean, there are so many. But the way caffeine works is it just simply puts your body in a sympathetic state. Now, what do I mean by sympathetic state? Sympathetic state is more of like right now I'm relaxed and talking. It's more of like I'm calm, resting, chilling out. Parasympathetic. When you're meditating, you're parasympathetic. When you're like playing with dogs, cats, parasympathetic. When you're just going out for a light walk in the sun, you're parasympathetic. When you're running away from a lion, or when you're getting into a fight, you are sympathetic. When you're stressed out, you're sympathetic. Your heart rate increases. You can't think about anything else other than solving the problem at hand, right? So caffeine puts you in a sympathetic state, and as a result of which, this simply increases your heart rate, increases your blood pressure, and caffeine also works through an interesting mechanism. It simply, your fat is bound. Like, how do I say this, right? Your fat is, I don't really know the exact science, please don't quote me on this one, but the fat is brown, right? What caffeine does is, if you have like a dose of caffeine, it releases those free fatty acids inside the bloodstream to be used as a source of fuel. So if you have like a nice little cup of coffee, black coffee, before your cardio session or whatever, and you go and do some daily fasted cardio, right? Now you got like the free fatty acids inside the bloodstream to be used for fuel, and boom, that's it. So if you're already in a calorie deficit and you already are losing weight, and if you have caffeine, that weight loss would slightly come a bit more from fat. So it gives you, like, again, just like Yohimbine HCl, it would give you something like a 1 or 2% of a benefit. Now, it could also be used before your workout. Caffeine also increases dopamine. Caffeine also increases motivation. So it could be used before your workout. It also increases your training performance, right? Which is what I'm going to be covering in the muscle building section. So a good starting dose would be like 3 milligrams per kilogram for that particular person. So yeah. And the top end of the dose throughout the day would be anywhere between 4 to 6 milligrams per kilogram, depending on the person. But just to understand, if caffeine comes at the cost of sleep, don't fuck with it. That's my advice to people, right? For 1 or 2% of a benefit, what you're gonna mess up with your sleep, which is gonna provide you 99% of a benefit when it comes to dropping body fat and building muscle. That's fucking stupid. So yeah, that's like my other thing. The other one is injectable L-carnitine, right? Not the oral form. The oral form is fucking useless because the bioavailability. Now, what do I mean by bioavailability? Let's probably say you take a 200 milligram dose of L-carnitine in the form of an oral supplement. Only 20 milligrams of it is going to be absorbed inside the bloodstream. Right? 20 milligrams is going to do fuck all, right? Because it passes through your gut, gets processed, and barely any of it makes it through your bloodstream. And you get enough of L-carnitine through animal sources of protein, because of which you must have noticed, like the non-vegetarian, right, who drinks, smokes, stays up late, is far more leaner and better and fitter than the vegan, right? Because they don't really have enough L-carnitine basically. But injectable form of L-carnitine has 100% bioavailability. Now what L-carnitine does is it simply shuttles the free fatty acids inside the cells, inside the mitochondria, to be used for fuel. Now, let me just give you an example from the previous supplement mentioned before, caffeine, right? Let's say you take caffeine, now you got like free fatty acids inside the bloodstream to be used for fuel. You're doing your cardio, right? But they're still inside the bloodstream. They're going in, they're going inside the cell to be used for fuel, but it's not that fast. But what L-carnitine does is it shuttles those free fatty acids to be used for fuel, inside the cells a bit more faster. So it works as a carrier. It's more of like an indirect mechanism, and it doesn't stimulate you. It's a fucking awesome supplement if you're cool with injecting it. And don't worry, it is not a steroid. It is just an amino acid, just like suspended in water, right? That's all the derivative is. That basically is it. So anywhere between something like, I don't know, give or take 200 to 500 milligrams of injectable L-carnitine per day before your fasted cardio. Yeah, I mean, it's a good place to start off from. Besides that, it's also got several health benefits. Like it's good for your cognition, it's good for your brain health, it's also good for, I mean, I mean, there are so many other health benefits that I can't recall, but L-carnitine is something that I probably take for the rest of my life. But again, all of this is going to work if you are doing the boring basics when it comes to fat loss, like being in a caloric deficit, tracking your calories, doing your steps, doing your cardio, training intensely, and sleeping well. Like none of this shit, you can't supplement or out-pink Himalayan salt poor habits, or out-supplement, out-drug poor habits, basically. So I hope I got that out of the way. There's so many other supplements that I can mention of, but these are like my top 3 to start off with. I hope you found it useful. Now let's probably start off with the supplements when it comes to muscle building. When it comes to muscle building, what do you think is going to build the most amount of muscle? Progressive overload inside the gym, training with the same old split, not changing shit, training hard, objectively tracking your weights and reps, and progressing that shit over a given period of time with good technique. That basically is it. That builds muscle. Like good quality nutrition, steps, good sleep. Yes, obviously that also builds muscle. But training is the primary driver of building muscle, and the nutrition, the steps, and the sleep, and all of that just facilitates it. And you got to be lean to build muscle, right? If you're not lean, you're not going to be insulin sensitive. And if you're not insulin sensitive, the extra calories that you consume for the purpose of building muscle is not going to be shuttled inside the muscle cells to reconstruct the muscle tissue after you damage it from a progressive overload session inside the gym. So these are the baseline requirements for building muscle. Yes, I know I'm preaching, but if you're a fat fuck, like, muscle building is not for you, right? You got to get lean, get down to 8 to 10% body fat, and slowly and steadily gain muscle between the 8 to 12% window. That basically is it. Or 8 to 14 or 15%. That's the cutoff point, right? Trust me, I made the mistake in the past of becoming a fat fucker while I was bulking. But no, right? Don't do that. Now let's probably get started, right? The first supplement that if you got the budget of calories to add that in, is protein powders. Whey or casein is a really, really good, whey or casein, adding that in within your diet is like a really, really good supplement to add in. That does nothing, but just gives you quality protein, fast absorbing. Casein is slow absorbing. Casein is going to be anywhere between something like, how do I say this? 7 to 9 hours digestion rate. Whey is going to be absorbed within anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes. But let's say chicken breast has something like 60% amino acids. So what do I mean by this? 100 grams of raw chicken breast has like 20 grams of protein, from which 12 grams is going to be absorbed. 60% of 20 grams of protein is 12 grams, right? Now if you combine that with like another amino acid, like another protein source with like 40%, you get like 60% plus 40, you get like 100% amino acid profile, right? Whereas protein powders just save you that cost and give you like 100% amino acid content. So if you take that like after your workout, not immediately, anywhere between like 30 to 5 or 6 hours after your workout, you're going to get the benefit of it, right? Eggs have like a 90% amino acid. That's the only benefit of whey protein or casein protein. So it's like a useful supplement to add within your diet, right? Now if you're allergic to dairy, Hydro Whey is like a really, really good one. Anywhere between 20 to 40 grams of protein coming from protein powders, whether it's whey or casein, is like a really, really good starting point, right? So that's that's one. The other one is going to be creatine. 5 to 10 grams, besides its health benefits, is going to increase the production of it's going to increase the body's production of ATP, right? ATP is the body's primary source of energy, and if you got more ATP to liberate, you got more ATP stores, you're going to perform better. So you're going to get like 1 or 2 reps extra over a given period of time. 1 or 2 reps on specific exercises compounded over weeks, years, etc. would give you more muscle. Simple as that, right? But this is going to work if you're tracking your weights and reps. So I know you were not expecting that, but I just had to mention that, right? Stick to the same split, track your weights and reps. But you know what also increases ATP production? Taking longer rest periods, training progressively, training explosively. So these all factors increase the ATP production during high intensity training exercise. So these are like the pre-requirements. Eating more whole food stores, you get creatine from chicken, you get creatine from beef, fish, shrimp. So eat proper food before you fucking creatine yourself into thinking that you're going to gain muscle. There's no specific time to take creatine. You can take it anytime you want. And yeah, caffeine, as I mentioned in the previous section, like it's gonna put you in a stimulated state. When you're stimulated, you will be a bit more hyper, as a result of which you might perform better. Again, the same dose, 3 milligram per kilogram. I'm not gonna dwell into caffeine again. Right, rewind back, listen to it. The other one is L-citrulline malate. Now you need to understand caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, so it basically constricts your blood vessels, because of which the blood might find it harder to move, right? So when you're training, you want your blood vessels to be open so that you can shuttle the nutrients inside the muscle tissue for reconstruction as much as possible, right? But like, how do you avoid the problem? L-citrulline malate, right? If you stack up caffeine is going to give you the boost, right? But it's going to constrict your blood vessels. But if you stack that up with like L-citrulline malate, anywhere between something like 5 to 10 grams before your workout, or in your intra-workout water, like during your workout, L-citrulline malate is going to increase. It's a vasodilator, so it's going to improve the size of your blood vessels, because of which you are going to get like a bit of a positive benefit, right? The vessels will open, there's going to be like more blood flow to the muscles, and nutrients are going to pass and will be shuttled inside your muscle cells far more easily, as a result of which recovery and the pumps will be better, and more pumps over a given period of time does lead to muscle growth. So that's the simplified way to do it. That's a simplified way to explain it. It's not a stimulant like caffeine and all of that. And what else? Yeah, that's about it. But now when it comes to mental focus during your workout, Alpha GPC, this is another supplement that I've experimented with. It's not a stimulant like caffeine, but it's more of like a motivating supplement. So what do I mean by this? Alpha GPC will increase choline. You also get choline from eggs. And choline is a precursor for acetylcholine, which is like a neurotransmitter which helps in memory, cognition, but also helps in motivation. It also helps in focus. So if you're focused during your workout, you're able to get deeper inside your set in a non-stimulatory fashion. You know, the calm, zen, limitless like focus. So if you stack all of these together, it's gonna be good. Like, you can also take Alpha GPC before you sleep, right, to be calm, but also have that like zen like focus. So you can also take it before speech. You can also take it before like an intense learning block, right? Anywhere between 200 to 300 milligrams per day. I mean, it's pretty good. Like, there's also research that shows like it reduces the risk with dementia and all of that, but in really high doses, which is what I'm not going to be covering right here. I tried it once, made me feel really good, but is it something that I would spend my money on? The answer is no. So I'd spend my money on creatine, caffeine in the form of black coffee. Sometimes I probably buy like a pre-workout, and that basically is it. What else? Yeah. Speaking of which, I feel like having a monster today, right? Fuck, my cravings are slightly high right now because I procrastinate forever when it comes to producing YouTube or producing a podcast. When I get into it, I mean, it's good. Physique update, right? Physique life update. So last week, I've been pretty much on track with my diet. I switched from eating 400 grams of potato whilst being in a deficit to something like 1 kilo of vegetables. That's pretty much helping, keeping my food sources the same. Enjoying the journey, to be honest. Like, yeah, it gets hard. The tirzepatide is still at 3.5 milligrams. Clenbuterol is still at 60 micrograms. I am doing cardio at like 60 minutes per week, 30 minutes 2 times per day. Today was the cardio day. I keep it on rest days, but training 5 times per week, following like a bit of an auto-regulatory training style. So let's probably say if I'm doing 3 sets per week for a specific muscle in a given workout, if I don't progress on the first set, I just do 1 set and I move on to another exercise. So I'm adapting things on the basis of recovery. So yeah, this week my coach has given me like a bit of a maintenance week. I feel fucking good. I feel fucking energetic on maintenance. 1,890 calories from 1355, and yeah, I mean, like, the weight's not gone up, so the metabolism is well on fucking point. The digestion is still a bit off because I think so. I've been eating a lot of fiber. Maybe the tirzepatide is slightly high, but I can sit through it. I'd rather face the digestion drawbacks slightly than, you know, like, yeah, so then like be fucking miserably hungry. Do I feel hungry? Yeah, absolutely. Last week I was like, fuck me, the energy levels were so low. I felt like a zombie, right? I dropped a lot of weight. It's more of like dropping something like 700 grams to 1 kilo per week, which is way too fast for someone like my body size. So my coach is like, all right, the fatigue is extremely high because by the end of the day, I feel dead tired and sleep, right? So I'll be waking up to pee something like 2 to 4 times per night, although I'm trying my best to keep my electrolytes balanced. But yeah, it's a part of the game, right? But sleep has been a priority. I'm not abusing caffeine like the way I was doing it before. Been very mindful, doing my best to train as hard as possible, doing my best to stay in routine. The mental health is really helping. Reading more mental health books before bed. Most of the people neglect this. I'm going to rant on about this, but this is what my physique looked like last week. The goal is to get peeled, from which I'm going to have a longer runway to grow because I've got the benefit of routine right now. So I might as well use that to my benefit. So yeah, people, if you found this useful, have a nice one and have a nice Sunday, and speak to you guys soon.